The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 47. One of the men in black stepped up to him, put a gun against his forehead, and asked in a cold voice, "You are on your own." The head of the PR was so scared that he hurriedly said, I am not. I don't understand what you are talking about. Who are you?" The man in black said coldly, "Who are we? You will know soon. Come with us." The PR guru hurriedly shouted, "Follow you. Why did you break into my house? If you don't leave, I will call the police." Two men in black walked forward directly. One of them grabbed his arms and twisted them back, then twisted his arms directly. The man screamed with pain, and the other person didn't intend to spare him. He directly slanted down 45 degrees and kicked his two knees fiercely, and even kicked both legs directly from his knees. The head of the PR army almost fainted in pain, and his family was crying with fright. The man in black sneered, "Isn't it great on the internet? You dare to use your fingers and type casually? Why do you just get confused today? People like you are not awesome in reality." The leader of the PR army hurriedly cried, "Daddies, grandpas, I'm just a cockroach, please let me go. I can give you money, I have a lot of money." One of the people in black shouted angrily, "Relying on betraying your conscience to make a few stinky money will make you look bad? A dog like you will live in this world in vain." After that, he took out a cigar cutter, grabbed the opponent's right hand, and said coldly, "Aren't you eating with 10 fingers? Okay, today I will let you see how your job is broken." Subsequently, the cigar was cut 10 times in a row, leaving 10 fingers on the ground. The PR guru was so desperate, but he heard the man in black say, "This is just a prelude, is it already scared like this? Don't worry, come with us to Oris Hill, the fun is still to come." The PR guru cried and said, "Grandpa, spare my life, I'm only 25 years old, and I don't want to die." The man in black said coldly, "Our young master has already said that, the rumorer, you will die." After that, he waved his hand and said coldly, "Take this man away and send it to the outskirts of Dong's Hilly, where the helicopter will come right away." Then a group of people in black drove the disabled PR guru directly out of the door, stuffed him into the car, and drove towards the outskirts. At this time, Roger, who was in Suzhou, was still waiting for the PR to help the Wu family wash their whites and at the same time help the Wu family to divert attention. But he did not expect that another hot search soon appeared on the internet. Regner Wu throws 20 million and hires the PR to wash himself off. Below this hot search, there are screenshots of all the chat records of Roger and the PR boss, payment vouchers, and screenshots of bank accounts. This time, the entire network exploded even more. The Wu family has detonated a powder keg with internet public opinion. No one thought that the Wu family would dare to be so shameless at this time. This greatly aroused the indignation and sense of justice in everyone's hearts. Regner was originally searched for by Article 1 and was so overwhelmed. At this time, his assistant suddenly told him, "Chairman, it's not good, something has happened." All the chat records between the young master and the PR were exposed. Now, the public opinion attacks on the Wu family on the internet are now more powerful. Regner took out his mobile phone and took a look. He almost went away without being angry. He stepped forward to Roger, raised his hand and slapped him in the face, and yelled, "You are something that has not succeeded in success, but is more than defeated. Who makes you do it yourself?" Roger felt very wronged. He also wanted to help his father share his worries, but he didn't expect this PR guru to be so unreliable. Not only unreliable, but also dare to betray him. He was extremely angry and said to Regner, "Dad, the PR guru took my money and dared to expose me. I must smash him into pieces." Regner said coldly, "You are really not ordinary stupid. How can he dare to fight against our Wu family for a mere unscrupulous sailor? It must be the people behind this thing who are doing us." Roger hurriedly asked, "Dad, who do you think did this thing? Who is so bold that not only did he dare to kill my uncle and the core members of the entire gang of beggars, but also dare to openly confront the Wu family?" Regner gritted his teeth and said, "I'm also considering this issue, but I really can't imagine who has such a great energy, and these families who have had some conflicts with us during the festival have long been convinced by us. They simply don't have the ability to plan such a big thing." Roger couldn't help asking, "Dad, what do you mean? Is that a stronger family targeting us?" Regner sighed, "I can't figure it out now, but I suddenly felt that this matter might have something to do with Charlie in Oris Hill." "Charlie!" Roger exclaimed, and said, "He shouldn't have such a great energy. It's possible to say that it's possible to be a local snake in Oris Hill, but how could he have such strength? Catch all the core members of the beggar gang? Even the Wu family may not have such strength." Regner nodded and said, "What you said is indeed reasonable, but the reason why I judge this is because I just saw a message on the internet." Roger hurriedly asked, "What is it?" Regner said with a black face, "You uncle, the batch of children he wanted to buy this time was stolen from the Oris Hill Welfare Institute." Speaking of this, Regner paused slightly, gritted his teeth and said, "I investigated the identity of this Charlie before. He grew up in the Oris Hill Welfare Institute. It turned out to be like this." Roger exclaimed, and said, "If you say that, the children who were stolen this time can be regarded as Charlie's younger siblings." "Right," Regner said, "that's why I speculated that this matter should be inseparable from Charlie." Roger couldn't help asking, "Dad, how can Charlie do this? Even his backers in Oris Hill don't have such a strong ability. Even if the Song family comes forward, they can't have such a strength." Regner said with some worry, "So this is what I worry about the most. If the Song family is his backer, then I am not afraid at all, but I am afraid of Isaac." Back in Oris Hill, Regner and his son were beaten out of Shangri-La by Isaac. At that time, both of them had their legs broken, and finally waited for the helicopter to arrive. Isaac didn't even allow the helicopter to land in the square in front of Shangri-La. It can be said that the Wu father and son were not given any face. However, Isaac is a member of the Wade family, everyone knows this, so the Wu family father and son dare not ask him to settle accounts. Regner now suspects that the person who has the ability to kill the entire gang of beggars in Suzhou in a short time is Isaac. Hearing this judgment, Roger couldn't help but get nervous. He looked at Regner and blurted out and asked, "Dad, why does Isaac help that Charlie? He himself is just the spokesperson of the Wade family." It stands to reason that if it was his own decision, he would not be able to mobilize such a powerful force. There must be a lot of Wade family relationships behind this incident. How dare he use Wade family relationships for Charlie? Could it be, when Roger said this, his face had become extremely ugly. He looked at his father and asked in a low voice, "Dad, that Charlie wouldn't be a member of the Wade family? This would make sense. He is a member of the Wade family. That's why Isaac gave him face like this. He is Wade family, so he can have such a great energy." Regner looked shocked, hesitated for a moment, waved his hand and said, "No, it's still impossible. It is impossible for Wade family member to go to Oris Hill to be a live-in son-in-law. This is totally insulting thing. Not to mention that the Wade family is impossible. Even if the Wu family is less than 1/10 of the Wade family, it is absolutely impossible for me to let you or your brother go to Oris Hill to be the son-in-law of a pauper family. This is totally unreasonable." Roger frowned and said, "Then how to consider this matter? I can't consider it, is it Charlie?" Regner said, "I suspect it has something to do with him, but I can't figure out what kind of connection is in it. It just so happens that we have been trying to get revenge from him. This time, we even did revenge and investigation together." Roger hurriedly asked, "Dad, what do you mean, go to Oris Hill again?" "Yes." Regner gritted his teeth and said coldly, "This time, I must make that Charlie better than dead." With that, he looked at Roger and asked, "Did you communicate with Fredman?" "Communication?" Roger said hurriedly, "His meaning is very simple. As long as we move, he must keep up. He has a deep hatred of Charlie. Because of Charlie, he can't do everything. It is said to be painful." "Okay." Regner asked again, "How about Horia, who was sent to the black coal mine to dig coal?" Roger said, "The situation on her side is okay. Unlike the Chinbai mountain, the two have always had masters guarding and not robbing them. The black coal kill has no masters. If necessary, we can send someone there at any time to bring Horia. Get her back." Regner said with a black face, "The father and son of Chinbai mountain didn't snatch anyone over last time. This time they sent more people over. In any case, they must be snatched back by me." After speaking, Regner said again, "Let the 8 heavenly kings of our family pass. I still don't believe I can't get back the 2 stinky rag digging ginseng in Chinbai mountain." Roger exclaimed and said, "Dad, let the 8 heavenly kings go? Not so? Isn't this a sledgehammer? After all, the Wu family is the first family in the south of the Yangtze River. They not only have their own medical team but also their own master team. The Wu family's master team is divided into 3 echelons. Ranked in the 3rd echelon are some veterans, who are much stronger than the average person, but they are not enough to see the real masters, they can only look after the home nursing home. In the 2nd echelon are some retired special forces with strong strength. These people are the personal bodyguards of the core members of the Wu family. Ranked in the 1st echelon are the 8 kings. The 8 heavenly kings are martial arts masters who came out of the 8 hidden Sejong gates, and they were dug up by the Wu family with a lot of money. These 8 people are very prominent in the Wu family. Under normal circumstances, they dare not ask them to come forward if they encounter any trouble. Because these 8 people are strategic nuclear weapons that will only be used at an emergency. Regner knew that Charlie's strength was extraordinary, and he brought so many bodyguards last time, but against Charlie they were completely useless. He sent people to Chenbai Mountain to snatch people, but the people sent were also killed. This makes Regner feel very depressed. From the beginning to the present, he has never sought a bargain under Charlie's hands. The successive failures have made him almost intolerable, and coupled with the blow of today's extinction, he almost collapsed. So at this time, Regner desperately needs a victory, so he must go all out, first use a crushing victory to comfort his injured heart. So he gritted his teeth and said, "This time I must have a big victory. A complete and overwhelming victory." At this moment, Charlie's helicopter had already flown over Oris Hill City. Isaac asked Charlie, "Mr. Wade, what do you plan to do with Nanshan's daughter?" Charlie said indifferently, "Her parents are gone, and now she's an orphan, so she can go directly to the orphanage." Isaac hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, don't leave things behind." Charlie waved his hand. "The older man has done something, and what he hasn't done. It is impossible for me to hurt the child and send her to the orphanage. If someone from the Wu family comes to lead her, don't stop them." Isaac nodded and said, "I think it is impossible for the Wu family to come and adopt this child, because the Wu family now hates Nanshan and the couple. It is estimated that this time the Wu family will lose more than half of their property. Tomorrow's stock market will reflect." Charlie smiled slightly, and said, "That's right, the Wu family's strength is not good enough. I will help the Song family to become the first family in the south of the Yangtze River." Isaac said immediately, "Mr. Wade, if you have any needs, just give your orders. It is okay." At this time, Isaac said again, "By the way, the PR guru named Anfen has been sent to Orville's kennel. Would you like to take a look?" Charlie waved his hand. "It's just a smelly rag that relies on scolding people to eat. Just chop him up and feed him to the dogs. I won't see such a person, lest my eyes will be dirty." Having said that, Charlie suddenly thought of Ichiro. This guy has been staying in Orville's kennel. So he asked Isaac, "How is Ichiro?" Isaac smiled and said, "What else can he do? He raises, feeds, walks, and picks up dog dung every day. He doesn't dare to leave the kennel all day long. Now he only has to dare to go out and let his brother know. His brother will definitely spend a lot of money to kill him." Charlie nodded and said with a smile, "Let him persist in the kennel. If the time is right, I will send him back to Japan and let him compete with his brother for the property." Isaac said, "If Jiro knew that Ichiro was not dead, he would die of anger." Charlie smiled slightly and said, "I don't know if he's angry, but by that time, it is estimated that Kobayashi Pharmaceutical will be mine." Isaac sincerely admired, "Mr. Wade, you are really wonderful to play this set of Kobayashi's family, and I am amazed." Charlie smiled and said, "It's not so good, it's mainly because it just made use of the greed of Kobayashi's family, so this person is the least greedy. If there is more greed, it will cause disaster. Just like that kid who engages in PR forces. If he is not too greedy for money, he will not end up being chopped up and fed to the dog." 10 minutes later, Charlie's helicopter landed on the top of Shangri-La. When Charlie's plane landed, another plane had already sent the children to the People's Hospital. Aunt Lena from the orphanage had already seen relevant information on the internet and knew that the children had been rescued. They were all excited. Then they heard that the children were going to be sent to the People's Hospital, so they rushed over. Originally wanted to go to the People's Hospital to have a look, but thought that this matter is now too hot on the internet. He didn't want Aunt Lena and the others to think that this matter was behind the scenes, so he asked Isaac to send a car to go home. After arriving at Thompson's villa, Charlie did not rush in. Instead, he called Aunt Lena and asked her, "Aunt Lena, I heard that all the children have been found." Aunt Lena choked with excitement. "Yeah, Charlie, the children have been found back, and they are now under observation at the People's Hospital." Charlie hurriedly asked, "Then the children are fine, right?" "Yes, yes," Aunt Lena said excitedly. "The doctor has already checked them because of taking sleeping pills. Now 3 children have woken up, and they are all fine. The doctor said to take a look and we can take them at night back to the orphanage." While speaking, Aunt Lena asked in a low voice, "Charlie, did you make that video on the internet? Did you find the children?" Charlie smiled and said, "Aunt Lena, you look down on me too much. How can I have such a great ability?" Aunt Lena was silent for a moment, sighed, and said, "I watched the video. Zhongming seems to be dead. I really didn't expect this child to get this far." Charlie also sighed, "I also watched the video. Zhongming himself took the wrong path. Aunt Lena, don't be too sad." "I know," Aunt Lena said melancholy. "I thought I would definitely walk in front of each of your children. I was still thinking that in the future, when I am old and pass away, you will be there. At my memorial service, give me a flower." Speaking of this, Aunt Lena whispered softly, "I really didn't expect that a child would die in front of me nowadays. Zhongming, this child, too annoying, but what a pity, yet." Charlie said, "Aunt Lena, don't think too much about it. I believe that Zhongming's incident will alert many people. His death may cause more people to correct their evils. The society has done a good thing." Aunt Lena said, "You are right, Charlie, Auntie will not tell you for now. I have to take care of the children who wake up. Another day, don't forget to come to the orphanage." "Okay, Aunt Lena." Charlie hung up the phone, sighed, and walked into the house. At this moment, Zhao Zhou, who loves taking advantage very much, just got off post. Their factory work requirements are very strict, and it is strictly forbidden to carry mobile phones during working hours, so he has no knowledge of what happened today and the numerous news feeds on the internet. After he got off work, he changed into his clothes in the changing room, took out his mobile phone, looked down and found that there were countless WeChat reminders. He opened WeChat curiously and found that the WeChat group of the original Welfare Institute had been fried. Up to now, there are more than 3,000 messages that he hasn't read. He flipped to the top curiously and began to look down one by one. At the beginning, he saw 10 children lost in the orphanage. He didn't think it was so great. What does it have to do with him? He can't get a penny if they are missing, and he can't get a penny if they get back. But when he looked down, he suddenly saw a video. He hurriedly clicked on the video and watched it curiously. Halfway through, he was struck by lightning. He did not expect that the person who stole 10 children from the orphanage would be Zhang Ming. Seeing Zhang Ming kneeling on the ground and repenting, Zhao Zhou couldn't understand it. How can someone like Zhang Ming steal the children of the orphanage, who can make double the profits in 1 week by operating a fund at random? Zhang Ming has a Mercedes and a Phaeton at his young age, which is so good in the eyes of excellence. He is the great god in his own eyes. Looking further back, Zhang Ming actually stood on the bridge, then dropped to a head shot, turned over and fell into the river. Zhao Zhou was so scared that he dropped the phone. What is going on? Zhang Ming is dead. He is dead. What about his 620,000? There are 500,000 loan sharks loans borrowed from the app. Isn't this taking his own life? At this moment, Zhao Zhou felt that the whole world had collapsed in front of him. He couldn't believe that Zhang Ming was dead, but in the video, the picture of Zhang Ming falling into the river was so clear. He knew that Zhang Ming was really dead. The biggest problem now is, who is going to ask for his 620,000? If he can't get the money back, he'll be finished, completely finished. Because this 500,000 usury will continue to make money, and finally turn to an astronomical figure, driving him to ruins. So he immediately called 110 and called the police. After the call was connected, he said in a panic, "Comrade police, I was deceived. Someone deceived me 620,000, but he is dead now. What should I do?" The police said, "If the person concerned is dead, then this matter cannot be handled by us. It is recommended that you file a lawsuit with the court to apply for the recovery of your claims from his estate, or apply for his guardian or his immediate family members. Especially the parents will pay for it." After hearing this, Zhao Zhou immediately cried out, "Comrade police, he is an orphan. He has no immediate family members or guardians. What should I do at this time?" The police asked him, "Then what fixed assets does your debtor have? For example, a house or a car? If you have any, you can apply to the court for enforcement and sell his personal assets." Hearing this, Zhao Zhou suddenly recovered. Zhang Ming was clearly dead, but he still left a Mercedes and a Phaeton. That Mercedes may be worth 300,000 to 400,000, but that Phaeton is very valuable. If he can get this Phaeton, he will not only be able to cover debts, but the extra money will also make him a small profit. Anyway, this Zhang Ming is now dead, and he doesn't have any relatives. It is only natural for him to take his property, and there should be no one to take care of it. So Zhao Zhou hung up the phone and drove the car straight to Zhang Ming's house. Zhang Ming didn't buy a house in Oris Hill, but he rented a one-bedroom apartment in a slightly remote place. Before the accident, his life was quite moist. What Zhao Zhou was thinking at this time was that after he goes to Zhang Ming's house, he first thought of a way to tow Zhang Ming's Phaeton away. He would definitely not be able to drive the car, but after towing it away, he could slowly figure out how to sell it. He felt that even if a top-fit Phaeton was dismantled and sold parts, the money could be sold back, so he would not lose money. But he didn't expect that at this moment, Zhongliang was also watching that popular video on the internet. Today was originally Orville's treat. He and the core cadres of his staff were invited to have a meal at Classic Mansion, and Zhongliang was among them. But while they were eating, Everyone suddenly started to pay attention to this video that turned out. These are all people from the underground world of Oris Hill, and they naturally know something about the beggar gang, and they have a certain knowledge of the Regner beggar gang. Suddenly seeing someone destroy the whole gang of beggars, one by one was stunned, and they immediately started discussing at the banquet. They are all very concerned about who did this thing. At the same time, they lamented that this person's ability is too strong. They didn't put the Wu family in their eyes at all. They rushed into the Wu family's turf and put Regner, the heir of the Wu family, Nanshan's brother-in-law, and all of Nanshan's younger brothers were killed. This is simply not something that ordinary people can do. Everyone speculated that this person must be a big figure in a certain super big family. Only Orville knew very well in his heart that Mr. Wade must be handling everything. At the beginning, Zhongliang was just like everyone else, only caring about curiosity and gossip. However, when he saw the scene where Zhang Ming was killed, his heart suddenly shook. It turned out to be the kid who hit his car. He hadn't returned the car to before he was killed? Is this too nonsense? He is dead, who will pay for his car? This car itself cost more than 2 million, and it hasn't been a month since he bought it. What's more is that he was so stupid that he didn't pull off and threw the crashed car directly to him. He wanted to directly make him pay for the new car, but he didn't expect that he was dead. Now not only the new car has not been found, but the Phaeton that crashed into it is still unknown where it is. Thinking of this, Zhongliang gritted his teeth and said in his heart, "In any case, I must quickly find my smashed Phaeton, otherwise, I will lose a lot." Fortunately, he had asked the little brother to threaten the boy and knew where the boy lived. So he didn't dare to delay, and immediately said to Orville, "Orville, I have to deal with something first, and then come back when I finish it." Orville nodded and said, "Then you go, and come back as soon as you are done. I will take you to the Brilliant Club in the evening." The crowd cheered. Zhongliang didn't have the mind to think about Brilliant Club. He just wanted to quickly find his Phaeton. He got up and came out of Classic Mansion. His little brother and driver was watching him get on an old Audi A6 and waiting at the gate of Classic Mansion. Zhongliang got into the car directly and said to his little brother, "Hurry up, go to the kid's house from yesterday." The little brother asked in surprise, "Brother Zhongliang, why are you going to the small house at this time? Don't you eat with Orville?" Zhongliang hurriedly urged, "Don't talk nonsense and drive quickly. I'm afraid that my Phaeton will be taken away by others." Zhongliang can be regarded as a person who has been in the underground world for a long time, so he is knowledgeable about many things. He knew that once a person dies in an accident, there would be a lot of people spying on his property immediately around him. He feels that now the boy is dead. What can he do if he does not get his stuff? So he was worried about his Phaeton being taken away. After all, the top-fit Phaeton is still very valuable. Thinking of this, he found another Phaeton key from the glove box of the Audi A6. No matter what, he has to drive the car back first. Even if he spends money to repair the car, you can't lose a Phaeton for nothing. Zhao Zhou came to the downstairs of Zhang Ming's house before him. Seeing that Phaeton was parked downstairs, he was immediately relieved. As long as the Phaeton is still there, his debt will be fine. But then he had another trouble. He couldn't drive, and he didn't have a car key. This phaeton couldn't be removed at all. If the car can't be taken away, it will naturally be impossible to sell it for money. Thinking of this, he called a friend who was working in a repair shop and asked him, "Can you come to Jinx district and help me tow a car?" The other party knows what kind of virtue Zhao Zhou is. This grandson likes to take advantage of him. When he visits a friend's house, he can't wait to make 2 poops at his friend's house in order to rub other people's toilet paper and water. So the other party immediately said to him, "The tow truck is okay, but you have to pay for it first. There are more than 10 kilometers from here to the Jinx. You pay 800 first." Zhao Zhou angrily scolded, "It's just that way, you asked me for 800, why don't you grab it?" The other party said disdainfully, "At this price, you love to procrastinate." As soon as the other party said such unfeeling words directly, Zhao Zhou did not dare to pretend to be forced. He hurriedly said, "Good brother, 800 is 800, you come fast, I am in a hurry." Convenience said, "You transfer the money from WeChat to me first, otherwise, what if you shake it a little bit? You have always been unreliable in doing things. I learned it a long time ago." Zhao Zhou helplessly said, "Oh, elder brother, you have the final say, I will transfer the money to you from WeChat, you hurry up, don't be too slow. The money arrives before leaving, otherwise there will be no way to speak." Zhao Zhou didn't dare to delay any more. He quickly took out his mobile phone, immediately found the other party, and then transferred 800 to the other party. But when he clicked to confirm the payment, he realized that his bank card balance was insufficient. Only then did he realize that in order to let Zhang Ming help him make money, he had given him almost all of his family property. His thinking was simple: the more he gave, the more he earned, so he didn't think much about it, and only left 500 for himself. Money for living expenses, planning to support Zhang Ming to give the money to himself. As a result, he can't even pay 800. Zhao Zhou could only pay him 500, and sent a voice begging, "Brother, I only have 500 in my card now. You should take the remaining 300 later, and I will pay you back immediately when I get the money." The other party directly responded with a voice, "Don't come to this set with me, don't I know you? Last time I went to Hong Kong with my girlfriend, you asked me to help you buy a set of cosmetics for your girlfriend. That set of cosmetics I bought for 1,320, and you only gave me 1,100. You said that you didn't have enough money and you would pay me after the salary. What happened? You still owe me 220. How can I trust you again?" Zhao Zhou hurriedly pleaded, "My good brother, it was indeed my fault last time. I really forgot about it. But this time you can rest assured that I will never forget. This 220, I will also give it back to you, okay? You first accept the 500, and then drive over to help me tow the car away. When I sell the car, I will pay you the remaining 520, okay? So, I will give you 600. The other party's tone did not relax. "No, you must give me 800 today, otherwise I won't come, sorry." After speaking, the other party clicked to collect the payment, and then returned 280 to him, saying, "This 220 is what you owe me, and you take the remaining 280. If you want me to tow, then you can take another 800. you, Zhao Zhou was almost mad. This kid didn't come to help. He also deducted 220 from himself. Now he only has 280, and it is impossible to find a trailer. Thinking of this, he could only gritted his teeth and said, "Okay, I'll find someone to borrow money, and I borrowed enough 800 for you. Have you come and help me tow the head office?" The other party greeted, "Yes, anyway, I'm fine now, I'll come when your money arrives." Zhao Zhou immediately sent a group message to his colleagues, "I am Zhao Zhou. I have something urgent and need a few hundred for emergency help. Can you lend me 520? I will give you the salary." He only has 280 left in his hand, and wants the other party to help him tow the truck, which is 520 short. As a result, the popularity of this grandson was really bad. He sent message to 60 or 70 colleagues in a group, and no one lent him money. Even people in the 80s ignored him, and those who took care of him directly rejected him. The reasons for refusal are naturally varied. Some say that they have no money, some say that the money has been deposited into financial management, and some say that they have lost their gambling. In short, there is no one to lend him the money. Zhao Zhou really couldn't think of any way, so he could only call his girlfriend and asked, "Wan, can you lend me 520? His girlfriend panted violently and said, "Zhao Zhou, are you sick? They are all boyfriends. They send 520 to their girlfriend. If you ask me to send it to you, do you want to be shameless?" Zhao Zhou hurriedly explained, "Wan, I didn't mean that. I really have something wrong now. I need 520 urgently. You can lend it to me first and return it to you when I get pay." The other party said a few times, "Zhao Zhou, you are too unpromising. You borrowed 520? How about your savings? Isn't there more than 100,000? Where did it go?" Zhao Zhou said, "Oh, this is a long story, so you can give me 520 to use it first, can't I pay you back then?" At this time, there was a man's voice on the other end of the phone, panting heavily, while deliberately lowering his voice and said, "Oh, you are talking nonsense with him at the critical moment, can you just give him the money quickly? Don't let him delay things." Zhao Zhou suddenly asked vigilantly, "Wan, why is there a man's voice over there? Who are you with?" The other party hurriedly said, "Oh, it's my cousin, am I not hurt? I've been practicing waist exercises in bed, but I don't practice well, so I asked him to come and help." Zhao Zhou let out a cry, thinking that when he called last time, his girlfriend was doing waist training in bed, so he didn't doubt it anymore. At this time, his girlfriend said on the other end of the phone, "It's okay, I won't talk nonsense with you, I will transfer the money to you on WeChat later." Upon hearing this, Zhao Zhou immediately became happy, and said hurriedly, "Wan, you are so kind, thank you." The other party said hurriedly, "Okay, I won't talk to you anymore, I'll hang up." After the other party hung up the phone, she sent Zhao Zhou a red envelope of 520. Zhao Zhou was overjoyed, and immediately called all the 800 in his account to his friend in the garage. Then he hurriedly urged, "Brother, the 220 has been paid back to you, and the 800 has been called to you. come here, I am in a hurry." The other party charged the money immediately and said, "I will pass this time. It will take more than 20 minutes to get to you." "Great!" Zhao Zhou said excitedly, "Call me when you get there." Zhao Zhou squatted in front of the Phaeton car, anxiously waiting for his friend to come over. 10 minutes later, the other party called and told him that he would be there in a few minutes. But at this time, an old Audi A6 had already parked in front of him. Zhongliang finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that his Phaeton was here. Although no one repaired the car for him, it is a part of the loss. Otherwise, if this car is not found, then the kid dead, and he is really at a loss. Thinking of this, he said to his little brother, "I drive that Phaeton back, you follow me." The little brother nodded immediately, "Okay, brother Zhongliang." Zhongliang pushed the door and got out of the car. He was upset because the car broke down and no one repaired it. He lost another remote control key. Repairing a car is estimated to cost hundreds of thousands, with a remote control key, which is estimated to be several thousand larger, and the loss is really heavy. Zhongliang couldn't help sighing in his heart, this is truly a disaster. It seems that he will burn incense in the temple another day. Isn't it a bit too old this year? Just thinking about it, he got out of the car and was about to take the key to unlock the Phaeton, and suddenly saw a kid squatting in front of the Phaeton. Zhongliang, who was upset, frowned and looked at the other man, cursing coldly, "What are you doing? Go and squat." Although Zhao Zhou has no money, no skills, and a stinky stalker who loves to take advantage of it, his temper is like a stone in that pit, smelly and hard. To use a common saying to describe it is exhausting. Of course, when he kneeled and licked others, he couldn't see the impoverishment in his temper, but he looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and then at the car he walked down, and he immediately felt a little disdainful. Isn't it just an old second-hand A6? This broken car is far worse than his own Phaeton, so dare to play force with him? What does it have to do with him? Thinking of this, Zhao Zhou, who was squatting on the ground, looked up at Zhongliang, and said disdainfully, "I can squat wherever I want, do you have a problem?" When Zhongliang was upset, he didn't expect that a rag squatting in front of his car would dare to act as a force. Without saying anything, he directly raised his foot and kicked Zhao Zhou to the ground. Then, before Zhao Zhou turned over, he immediately rushed to punch him and kick him. Zhao Zhou, who was beaten, yelled, angrily said, "Why are you hitting me? Why are you hitting me? Did I provoke you? Did I provoke you here? Are you sick?" Zhongliang directly hit his nose with a fist, his face was covered with blood, and he cursed coldly, "You are all right, why squat in front of my car? You squat in front of my car and talk to me? Pretending to be forced, and I am not allowed to hit you." After finishing speaking, he punched again. Zhao Zhou, who was smashed, had a star in his eyes and almost passed out. At this time, Zhongliang's little brother saw a fight here, so naturally he hurried to the door and got out of the car. After a word, he rushed to help his boss beat Zhao Zhou severely. Zhao Zhou had been beaten miserably, and the other party suddenly added another helper, who beat him into despair. At this time, he no longer had the enthusiasm that he had just now. Seeing that the other party beating him non-stop, there is no fear at all, and they almost wants to beat him to death. Zhao Zhou can no longer stand it. He cried and said, "Big brother, I was wrong, big brother, please don't fight. Brother will die if you beat again, brother." Zhongliang didn't mean to stop in the slightest, and he cursed while beating, "I'm having a stomach and there is no place to vent, you just came to the door, I won't kill you, I'm so sorry." Zhao Zhou had been beaten to a faint, his face was full of blood, and he was completely inhuman. At this moment, a tow truck suddenly drove up to the front. The tow truck driver was in the car and shouted through the window, "Hey, what are you doing? If you don't stop, I will call the police." This person is the friend of Zhao Zhou. This kid has a good character and a sense of justice. In fact, he didn't recognize it at all. The one who was beaten was Zhao Zhou, but seeing the two men beaten so hard, a poor man with blood on his face, he decided to come forward. At this time, the anger in Zongliang's heart had also disappeared a lot, and all these anger had been transformed into force and hit Zhao Zhou. Seeing someone showed up and threatened to call the police, Zhongliang felt that more things were better than less things, so he hurriedly left. After all, the big brother was still waiting for him. So he said coldly to Zhao Zhou, "Boy, today is your fate, otherwise I would have killed you." After speaking, he kicked Zhao Zhou a few meters away, took out his car key, and opened the door of Phaeton. Zhao Zhou was already going into a coma. His swollen egg eyes narrowed into a small slit. He suddenly saw Zhongliang open the Phaeton car door and sat in. He was suddenly anxious. "Why are you driving my car?" Zhao Zhou roared, and rushed towards the Zhongliang, rolling on the ground. Before Zhongliang came back to his senses, his legs were already tightly hugged by Zhao Zhou. The blood on Zhao Zhou's face rubbed his entire trouser legs, very disgusting. Zhongliang was so angry that he kicked him out again, and sternly said, "You kid do not want to live, right? Is it death you desire? When did my car become yours?" When Zhao Zhou heard this, he thought that Zhongliang was also Zhang Ming's creditor, thinking that he was also here to grab the car, so he desperately rushed up again, clinging to Zhongliang's leg, and shouting, "This Phaeton is mine! This Phaeton is mine! You can't drive away!" Zhongliang was furious, grabbed his collar, and kept pulling his face fiercely, "Is your brain sick? Don't you see I have the car key?" Zhao Zhou cried loudly, "No! This is Zhang Ming's car. Zhang Ming owes me 620,000. I want to use this car to repay the debt. You can't drive it away. You want me to drive it away? It'll cost my life. I'm your mother." Zhongliang punched him again and scolded, "You really have a brain problem. I tell you, this car itself belongs to Mr. Me the kid Zhang Ming. He ran up to my car. I threw the car to him and let him recover it. Now that he is dead, I will naturally drive the car back. If you dare to talk too much, be careful, I will now take your life." Zhao Zhou cried and said, "How is this possible? This is impossible. This car is obviously Zhang Ming's. Zhang Ming has two cars, one is a Mercedes and the other is a Phaeton. His Mercedes has crashed, so he drove the Phaeton now, and now that he is dead and still owes me so much money, I must take this car to repay the debt. If you don't give me this car, then you kill me, and I don't want to live. Zhongliang is also about to collapse. He didn't expect this kid to be so stubborn who couldn't be killed. He had beaten him like this, and he even dared to hold his leg and not let go. But in broad daylight, he can't really kill him, otherwise, even if he mix well, he can't suppress such a big thing. Thinking of this, he just wanted to get rid of the neurosis quickly, so he carried Zhao Zhou to his Phaeton car like a chicken, pointed at the entire rear of the Phaeton that was hit, and said coldly, "Come on. Your dog's eyes can see it clearly. Is there any injury on the back of this car? Why is there an injury? It was that Zhang Ming drove the Mercedes-Benz yesterday and rear-ended this Phaeton. Now you should believe it." Zhao Zhou's face was bloody, but he still shook his head and said, "I don't believe it. I don't believe it. This car belongs to Zhang Ming. I want to use it to pay off debts, you can't drive away." Zhongliang felt helpless for the first time. What should he do now? Can't he really kill him? But if he hit him like this, he won't let go, just so entangled and consumed. This is not a way. In desperation, he shouted to his little brother, "Wilson Wu, you take out the driving license of this Phaeton from the armrest box of the Audi A6. Hurry up." The little brother hurriedly took out a certificate from the car and handed it over quickly. Zhongliang opened the certificate, handed it to him, pointed to the license plate number on the driving book of the car, and said, "You see the license plate number, is it this Phaeton?" The car license is the ID card of a car, which records all the information of the car, including its license plate number, frame number, engine number, registration date, registration place, and its owner. Zhao Zhou narrowed his eyes and only glanced at it, and suddenly he felt as desperate as an ice seller. The license plate number on this driving permit is exactly the same as that of the Phaeton. Moreover, the owner's name written on this driving permit is called Zhongliang, not Zhang Ming. Zhao Zhou finally knew what kind of scam he had experienced. It turned out that Zhang Ming was not as rich and successful as he said. Not only that, but he also caused a disaster. He crashed Zhongliang's Phaeton and urgently needed to buy a new one for Zhongliang, which is the fundamental reason why he boasted about money making and deceived him to get more than 600,000. But the worst thing now is that this fraudulent is dead. In other words, he can't get back his 620,000, not even a cent. At this time, his heart was painful, more painful than the wound on his body. Zhongliang, who beat him violently, saw that he was no longer crazy as he was just now, and he was a little relieved, and said to him, "You can see clearly this time, I am going to drive away. There's nothing wrong with the car." Although Zhongliang looked down on Zhao Zhou in his heart, Zhao Zhou's crazy state just now made him somewhat jealous. He also mixed up all the way, so he knows that this kind of person is actually very scary. If he really angers him, he is likely to desperately fight. So it is better not to provoke such a person, at least not to provoke him now. When Zhao Zhou heard his words, his heart was already gloomy. He didn't even dare to think about what he should do in a week. Because, after a week, some platforms are about to start asking for a repayment. By that time, he will not have the money, and he doesn't know how they will treat him. Seeing that he was in a daze, Zhongliang seemed to be lost in a daze, so he didn't bother to talk nonsense with him anymore, so he got into the car and started and drove away. Zhao Zhou sat on the ground alone, smelling the exhaust left by the Phaeton car, tears streaming down his face. His tears kept streaming, mixed with blood and dust on his face, leaving 2 obvious tear marks on his face. His guy who drove a trailer dared to jump out of the car, walked to him, squatted down, patted him on the shoulder and asked, "Excellent, do you want me to call the police for you?" Zhao Zhou cried and said, "I'm done, the person who killed me is also dead, what's the point of calling the police?" The other party didn't know what he had gone through. At this time, he sighed softly and said, "Excellent, then can't you drag the car?" Zhao Zhou looked at him and yelled, "You're so blind, didn't you watch the car and those people driving it away? I'm dragging a feather." The other party couldn't help but frowned and thought, if he had just yelled, he would have been beaten to death. He is kindly coming over to care about him now, did he pretend to be with me? Okay, then you can pretend it yourself, I won't play with you. Thinking of this, he stood up and said to Zhao Zhou, "Then if you don't want to tow the truck, I will leave." Zhao Zhou came back to his senses and hurriedly said, "You return the 800 to me before leaving." The other party said angrily, "You are arguing with me, I don't need money to drive all the way. I drive a car in the repair shop. As long as I go out, the repair shop will assume that I have started to pick up the job, regardless of you. If the car is not towed, I have to report the income to the repair shop when I go back." Zhao Zhou angrily said, "I don't care about your reasons, it has nothing to do with me, I only know that I didn't let you tow the trailer, so you have to return my money to me." The other party was also anxious, and said in a huff, "I said you don't understand people's speech? The repair shop has regulations. As long as I take the truck, they will charge a fee. You ask me to return the money to you. Go back to the repair shop and they ask me for money, what should I do?" Zhao Zhou said coldly, "I'm the one who cares about you, what does it have to do with me? You quickly return the money to me." The other party did not expect that this person would not speak any truth at all, and said angrily, "A person like you deserves to be deceived and deceived into bankruptcy." After speaking, he ignored him and turned away. Zhao Zhou limped to catch up, and cursed, "You fraudulent, quickly return the money to me, otherwise I will never finish with you. Neurotic." The other party cursed, climbed onto the trailer and drove away. Zhao Zhou couldn't catch up with his truck, and his heart was extremely angry, but seeing that the other party had already left, he could do nothing, and his deep despair replaced the anger just now. Now, his top priority is how to deal with the 500,000 usury. At this moment, he felt that his life was almost desperate. At this time he thought of his girlfriend Wan. Zhao Zhou is also an orphan. He has no father, no mother, and no relatives. This girl is his girlfriend, so he felt that Wan was his only relative. Now that he has encountered such a major setback, when he is desperate and not knowing what to do, he just wants to see his beloved woman, hoping that his beloved woman can give him some comfort. So he wiped his face with his clothes, limped to the gate of the community, and stopped a taxi. The taxi driver had seen him look so terrible and didn't dare to pull over for him. But he grabbed the other side's rear view mirror and didn't let go, and shouted, if you don't pull over for me today, I will complain to your company." The taxi driver did not dare to blatantly refuse the ride, so he could only get him in the car and drove to the neighborhood where his girlfriend's house was located according to his request. However, Zhao Zhou is now penniless and can't afford the taxi fare. He can only count in his heart, there is a very narrow alley near his girlfriend's house, and that alley cannot be driven in by cars, and it is very winding inside. If he asked the driver to stop at that alley and then get into the alley while he is unprepared, he should not be able to catch up with him. In this way, he won't have to pay for taxi fare. Zhao Zhou does what he thinks. When he was approaching his girlfriend's house, he asked the driver to stop at the alley. The driver turned off the meter and said, "A total of 45. Zhao Zhou nodded, turned on the phone, opened WeChat and scanned it and said, "I don't have cash, scan the QR code to pay." The driver said directly, "There is a WeChat QR code in the back row. Please scan the code directly." Zhao Zhou pretended to scan the QR code, then pretended to tinker for a while, and said to the driver, "Mr. S money has been transferred." The driver said, "I didn't hear the prompt, I have all voice prompts." Zhao Zhou deliberately said, "Maybe the internet is not good, and you will receive it immediately." After finishing talking, Zhao Zhou immediately pushed the car door, and ran into the alley as if stepping crazy. He thought that he was familiar with the terrain of this alley, and he could get rid of the driver by going in and around twice. He didn't expect that he was beaten so badly. As soon as he got out of the car and was about to run, he immediately ran out of breath. He felt a sharp pain in my abdomen, and one fell to the ground without standing still. At this time, the driver also realized that he was going to run, and hurriedly pushed the door to chase him, and found that he had fallen to the ground, and said angrily, "You want to run before the money has been paid? Give me the money quickly." Zhao Zhou lay on the ground, looking at the fierce taxi driver. His expression was no longer the arrogance he had when he stopped the car and threatened him. He looked at the driver, crying and begging, "Master, I just went bankrupt and have nothing, and I owe a debt. I was beaten into such a situation again. I really have no money to pay the fare, please. Please let me go." The driver said angrily, "You owe a debt, and I still owe a debt. If I have money, would I still open a rental car? Do you think this 45 is nothing? This 45 is enough for me to eat for 2 days. Get it out for me quickly." Zhao Zhou cried out, "Master, I really don't have money, and I don't have any valuables on my body. I beg you, you can take pity on me." The taxi driver yelled coldly, "Don't come to this set with me, then if you don't give me the money, I'll call the police." When Zhao Zhou heard this, he hurriedly got up, knelt under his feet, and kowtowed to him, "Master, I really have no money. Even if you kill me, I have no money. I beg you. I beg you, can't I just kowtow to you? You just treat me as your son and kowtow to you in the new year to say hello. Don't you have to wrap me a red envelope too?" The taxi driver had never seen such a shameless person, and he was trembling with anger. Why are you so shameless? Do you have no parents? If your parents knew that you were outside kowtowing to others for 45, what will be their feelings?" Zhao Zhou's nose was sour. "Master, tell you that I am an orphan. I had no father and no mother since I was a child. I grew up in the Oris Hill Welfare Institute. Going away, that fraudulent not only defrauded my 120,000 savings, but also defrauded me to loan him 500,000 usury from various loan apps. Now he is dead. When the taxi driver saw that he didn't seem to be telling lies, he couldn't help but be shocked, rushing to a well-off society. Why are there such unlucky people? Seeing this, he really couldn't bear it, and continued to force him for the fare. So he sighed and said to Zhao Zhou, "For the sake of your pitiful life, since you have no father and no mother, forget it this time. If you are unlucky, I will ask you to ride in the car." When Zhao Zhou heard this, he immediately knocked 3 heads again and said gratefully, "You are such a good person, you are my second-born parent." After speaking, he raised his head, looked at the taxi driver, and pleaded, "You have already asked me to take the car. Can you give me another 50 and treat me for a meal?" The taxi driver was so annoyed that he kicked him away and cursed, "Sure enough, a poor person must have something to hate. You can say it if you are so shameless. You really convinced me." After speaking, the driver turned back to the taxi, started the car and left. Zhao Zhou struggled to get up from the ground, patted the soil on his body, and thought to himself, although the process was a bit bumpy, it ultimately saved the 45. It took up 45 for the taxi driver, which made Zhao Zhou feel a little better. He limped to his girlfriend's house, thinking in his heart, the moment he sees his girlfriend, he must pounce in her arms and cry. The girlfriend's house is in a shanty town in this city, which is the kind of self-built house, which is relatively shabby. However, in Zhao Zhou's eyes, this is a gold mine, because shanty towns are being managed everywhere now, saying that the house will be demolished when it is demolished, and the house will be lost when it is demolished. There are 2 or 3 houses in a row. Therefore, he is also eager to get married with his girlfriend earlier, so that he can join their family and become a son-in-law, and after the demolition in the future, he can share some benefits. When he came to the door of his girlfriend's house, he knocked on the door, but no one came out to open the door. He didn't know that Wan, his girlfriend, was in her room at this time, and a customer of hers who bought fake cigarettes was doing the same thing intently. He sent a call to his girlfriend on WeChat, and the other party did not respond. He thought that the other party was asleep, so he found a key under a pickle jar at the door of his girlfriend's house. This is the secret that he discovered by chance, that the future mother-in-law leaves key under the pickle jar. It may be that older people are easier to forget, so the future mother-in-law hid such a key in case of emergency. But this time it was convenient for Zhao Zhou. After Zhao Zhou took out the key, he opened the door and entered the courtyard of this self-built house. After entering the yard, although the door to the room was closed, it was not locked. So Zhao Zhou opened the door and walked in, passing through the living room. He suddenly heard a very, very strange sound from the bedroom inside, like the soft moan of his girlfriend. He limped to the door, and the more he listened, the more he felt something was not right, because the voice from inside seemed to be a man besides his girlfriend, and there was also a very crazy sense of rhythm. Thinking of something, he kicked the door angrily and saw the naked people on the bed hugging each other tightly. The one below was his girlfriend Wan. Zhao Zhou was very angry at this moment, and he shouted hysterically, "Wan! Why you be, tch betraying me? The two people on the bed let out a cry of fright, and then quickly turned over and hid under the bed. Wan wrapped her body very tightly and looked at Zhao Zhou nervously. You? Why are you here? How did you get in? Zhao Zhou angrily scolded. How do you care about me getting in? If I didn't come in and see, I won't know that you dare to betray me. As he said, he looked at the fat man next to Wan, gritted his teeth and cursed. You dog dare to sleep with my girlfriend, I'm fighting with you. After speaking, Zhao Zhou rushed towards the fat man. But before he got there, the fat man kicked him directly through the quilt, kicked him upside down with one kick, kicked out the door directly, and cursed, so you're the silly waste. What kind of blessings can one enjoy following you? What good life can she live on? I heard that you can't make a lot of money. Do you still expect Wan to sell fake cigarettes to support you in the future? Wan asked in surprise. Mr. Benj, how do you know that I sell fake cigarettes? The fat man petted and said, Fool, I have smoked for so many years, can I still not get the real China and the fake China? Wan was even more surprised, and blurted out, Mr. Benj, you know that the cigarettes I sell are fake, why do you buy them? And you buy so many at once. The fat man picked her chin and said with a smile, I feel sorry for you. I want you to make more money. It doesn't matter to me to buy a few fake cigarettes, I will be happy as long as you can be happy. One's face was full of the shyness of a girl. She threw herself in his arms and said shyly, Mr. Benj, you are really kind to me. Zhao Zhou struggled to get up at this time, already hating these two dog man and woman, crazy in his heart. Unexpectedly, they dare to flirt and scold at this time. How shameless! Do they take him seriously? Originally, he had accumulated countless negative energy, and seeing that the whole person was about to collapse, he ran to Wan to talk to her and find some comfort. Unexpectedly, before arriving at Wan's house, he was ridiculed by the taxi driver and kicked, and he was forced to knock him several heads. This brought his mood to the edge of almost collapse. But he did not expect that a bigger bomb would be behind, and he did not expect that his beloved woman would betray him. When he thought of this, he was completely crazy. Now he doesn't think about it anymore. What should he do with the 500,000 usury? Can't think about what to do if you are beaten today or humiliated today. The only thing he thought about now was to make the couple pay the price. So he crawled to the kitchen and took a sharp knife that was boneless, ready to kill the tch and the man. At this time, the fat man Benj had also put on his pants and walked out of the bedroom. What he thought was to get rid of that Zhao Zhou. As soon as he arrived at the door, he found that Zhao Zhou had disappeared. He thought that this kid should have escaped in anger. He was about to go back and said to Wan. He suddenly felt a sharp pain in his back. At this time, Zhao Zhou had already inserted the sharp knife into his back. Then Zhao Zhou drew out the knife, pushed the fat man to the ground, and rushed into the bedroom. In the bedroom at this time, Wan was not wearing any clothes, but lying on the bed waiting for the fat man Benj to return. After all, the two hadn't finished their work just now, they were suddenly interrupted by Zhao Zhou. She was still waiting for her lover to drive Zhao Zhou away before coming back and continuing with her. But she never expected that the person who stepped forward at this time turned out to be Zhao Zhou, and he also held a knife in his hand. Wan was so scared that she hurriedly jumped to the corner wrapped in a quilt, and said in a panic, "Zhao Zhou, what are you going to do?" "Me?" Zhao Zhou gritted his teeth and cursed, "You betrayed me, I want your life." Wan said coldly, "I tell you not to be foolish. If something happens to me, the police will not let you go." Zhao Zhou smiled miserably, "My life has been ruined. I originally expected you to give me the last light. It is you who really pushed me down the abyss." After that, Zhao Zhou gritted his teeth and said, "You want to completely destroy me, then I will completely destroy you before I am destroyed." Wan was so frightened that she knew that Zhao Zhou's expression was not joking with herself. So she hurriedly shouted, "Mr. Benj, Mr. Benj, save me, Mr. Benj." Zhao Zhou smiled and said, "Mr. Benj has been stabbed to death by me, now it's your turn." Wan saw that the sharp knife in his hand was full of blood. She was about to collapse, crying, and said to Zhao Zhou, "Zhao Zhou, I beg you to forgive me, I really didn't mean to betray you, you love me so much, are you willing to hurt me?" Zhao Zhou sneered and said, "I'm sorry, I don't love you anymore. I don't even love myself or the world anymore. So, I must make you pay, let you know, bully anyone can do it, don't bully honest people." After speaking, Zhao Zhou rushed to her front. Wan shouted in despair, but then her shout stopped abruptly. The sharp knife in Zhao Zhou's hand has already been inserted into her heart. Seeing Wan's silence, Zhao Zhou was stunned for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, he took out his cell phone and dialed 110, "Hello, I want to surrender." The other party hurriedly asked, "What's wrong with you? Why do you want to surrender?" Zhao Zhou said blankly, "I just killed someone." When the other party heard this, he blurted out and asked, "Where are you now? Are people dead?" "Dead." Zhao Zhou glanced at Wan again, and then slowly reported the address of Wan's home. 10 minutes later, 2 police cars and a 120 drove to the door of Wan's house almost at the same time. The police rushed in with the doctor, first controlled Zhao Zhou, handcuffed him, and then asked the doctor to check the conditions of the 2 victims. The doctor quickly concluded that both victims were dead. The police immediately took Zhao Zhou into the police car and formally arrested him. Zhao Zhou, who was sitting in the police car, had a very indifferent expression. He knew that his life had been ruined anyway, and it didn't matter whether he was alive or dead. Although his expression is very indifferent, his heart still hurts uncomfortably. He suffered all his life, and has loved countless people with inferiority, but no one really loves him. He once thought that Wan was the only person in the world who loved him. Why is that? He desperately wants to save money, give the future mother-in-law enough money as a gift, and marry Wan as his wife. It was for this purpose that he desperately gave all of his belongings, together with the 500,000 loan usury, to Zhang Ming. But it wasn't until the moment when he opened the bedroom door that he really realized that no one had loved him in his life. As the saying goes, grief is greater than death. Now Zhao Zhou's heart is completely dead. Charlie had just arrived home not long ago. Seeing him coming back, Claire hurriedly asked him, "You went out early today to help the orphanage find child Reen. Charlie asked curiously, "How do you know?" Claire said, "It has been spread all over the internet. I knew that when I saw the news. You must have gone out for this matter." Charlie nodded and said, "I also organized several friends to find them, but I didn't expect a mysterious person to send the children back. It was a false alarm." He said this because he was afraid that his wife would think more about it. If his wife thought that he was behind the scenes, she might have opinions on him. After all, although he didn't personally kill people today, he also commanded and killed many scams. Thinking of this, Charlie looked at Claire, deliberately trying to test her tone and attitude, so he said, "I also watched the video today. It's scary. So many people died." Claire nodded and said, "It's a bit scary, but seeing those fraudulents of the beggar gang have been punished, I feel very relieved, because I have seen many posts on the internet exposing the behavior of the beggars. Helping people is really bad. They have killed so many children. It's really not a pity to die." Charlie nodded in agreement. The reason why he asked Isaac's men to deal with the beggars and human traffickers was also because they deserved to die. At this moment, Charlie suddenly received a push. This city has just cracked an intentional homicide case, and the suspect has been captured on the spot. At this time, in the WeChat group of the orphanage, something happened to Zhao Zhou. He killed someone and was taken away by the police. The news has been broadcasted all over. Charlie only knew that the news just now was about Zhao Zhou. Today the WeChat group of the orphanage completely exploded. Everyone dare not imagine that everyone was eating together yesterday, and today 2 friends from the orphanage died. Zhang Ming was the first to die. Everyone knew what he had done, so they felt that he was dead. But no one thought that Zhao Zhou, who had always liked to take advantage of others, would become a murderer. And what he killed turned out to be his girlfriend and his girlfriend's lover. Xiao Fen sent a tearful expression in the group and said, "Why is this person Zhao Zhou unable to think so? Even if his girlfriend betrayed him, he shouldn't have done such extreme behavior." Others said, "Hey, although I usually hate Zhao Zhou, I think he is quite pitiful now. He was poking his heart out to his girlfriend, but he didn't expect the other party to treat him like that." Another said, "Zhao Zhou killed 2 people, will he be shot? The news said that he surrendered himself, he should be treated with leniency. He didn't murder for money or other purposes, but because his girlfriend cheated in front of him. It is estimated that the court judge will sympathize a little bit. Hey, the high probability is the death penalty, and the small probability is the death sentence with a reprieve. But even with a reprieve, his life is over." Xiao Fen sighed. Aunt Lena also learned about the news just now. She seemed to be very injured and locked herself in the room and didn't want to come out. Seeing this, Charlie felt a little distressed for Aunt Lena. Regardless of whether these children grow up, they are good or bad, but these children are brought up by Aunt Lena. Everyone is like her child, and she lost 2 children today. Charlie, who had not spoken all the time, said in the group at this time, "Xiao Fen, do you want us to see Aunt Lena?" Xiao Fen said, "No need, Charlie, let Aunt Lena be quiet for a while." "All right," Charlie couldn't help sighing. He did not expect that Zhao Zhou would end in such a way. Although this person is annoying, he is really pitiful. Most of the time why people are fooled is because they are greedy. Therefore, he shut down all WeChat accounts of the orphanage, and today he no longer wants to hear related information. At this moment, the worst family in the world is the Wu family. The Wu family was scolded as a dead dog on the internet, and was frantically condemned by netizens across China. The scolding became more and more intense, and there was no intention to stop. More importantly, the fact that they spent money to find the PR managers was completely exposed. This is just worse, and the people of the whole country hate the Wu family even more. The old master of the Wu family, his whole being angry, almost lost his breath. He took a big rescue measure to save his life, but he was already in a deep coma. Yakina, Regnar's wife, was emotionally broken because she learned that her younger brother and his wife were dead, and that his family was dead. She smashed everything that could be smashed in the room. Regnar didn't have the time to manage Yakina at this time. At this time, instead of feeling sorry for her, who was emotionally broken, he hated her very much. Because if it weren't for her, if it wasn't her brother, how could the Wu family encounter such a big credibility crisis? It doesn't matter if this Nanshan is dead, it is very likely that the Wu family will lose more than half of their assets. In that case, the Wu family will no longer be the first family in the region. Moreover, the nature of this incident is really too bad. It is estimated that the people of the whole country will never forget this incident for a while, so for a long time to come, the Wu family will become hateful dogs in this world. Worse still, the Wu family's business will definitely be affected very far-reachingly. It is possible that for a long time to come, the Wu family's assets will continue to shrink. It is very likely that the Wu family will be reduced to a second-rate family. The saddest thing is that Regnar has nothing to do with this. He was already exhausted. Because the most feared thing is to incite the anger of the people. If one day the Wade family also had a scam, and the people across the country hated it, then the Wade family would not be able to recover. Therefore, at this moment, the helms of large families across the countryside deep in their hearts, we must keep in mind the mistakes and lessons learned by the Wu family this time. Today's Wu family has done a great job to all large families across the country. At this moment, Regnar has given up his reputation for saving the Wu family. He is full of resentment now, and only thinks about one thing, which is to seek revenge on Charlie. Roger ran over to him and said, "Dad, the 8 heavenly kings have replied. They said they only obeyed Grandpa's arrangements, and other people's orders were useless to them." Regnar hurriedly asked, "Did the doctor say when your grandpa can wake up?" Roger shook his head. The doctor said that he couldn't judge for a while. Grandpa had a serious stroke this time. Regnar frowned. If the 8 great heavenly kings do not come out, I am afraid that I will not be able to snatch the father and son back from Chenbai Mountain, Roger said, but we continue to wait like this, I don't know when Grandpa will wake up. After that, Roger said again, in my opinion, let's send some second-rate masters to try it out first. We will send a few more people this time. Regnar thought for a moment, then lightly nodded and said, "It's not a way to wait. If that's the case, send someone there first." Roger said at this time, "Dad, actually I don't quite understand why you are looking for these enemies of Charlie. In my opinion, these people are all rags. How can you expect them to kill Charlie?" Regner said indifferently, "Last time we underestimated the enemy, so we suffered such a big loss. This time, we must first stabilize and observe for a while later, first find some cannon fodder, and help us test." After speaking, Regner said again, "The two armies should not expose their main force in advance. Instead, they should find some cannon fodder and go to the opponent's position to test it. Once the opponent fires, we can find the opponent's firepower point. Where, then we will unplug the opponent's firepower point, so that if the army is overwhelmed, the opponent will undoubtedly die. Otherwise, if we send the main force directly, what if we are destroyed by the opponent's firepower first? Wouldn't we be taken away by a wave?" Roger nodded. "Dad, I understand what you mean." Regner hummed, and said, "Since you are looking for cannon fodder, you must find someone who has hatred with the other party. Because of this cannon fodder, he will be desperate and dash forward not afraid of death. The family's Horia who was sent to the Black Coal Kill, Fredman who couldn't do anything, and even those who had been beaten in the face by Charlie before, are all excellent candidates for cannon fodder." After that, he asked Roger, "Have the people who are meant to save Horia set off?" Roger hurriedly said, "They have set off. In the past period of time, Horia has lived like years. She is the eldest daughter-in-law of the Wilson family, so she has never suffered. On the contrary, Horia's life was also very good during the years when the Wilson family was successful. So Horia didn't dare to say that it was a lifetime of fine clothes and food, but it was also a good life. Now she has been reduced to mining coal day and night in the Black Coal Kill. This kind of life is more painful than hell. However, Horia was the one who had the most comfortable life among the same group of people sent to the Black Coal Kill by Charlie. Those men, who are now being tortured, are not like human beings. They have to work 15 or 6 hours in the Black Coal Kill every day, and they are hungry and skinny. The old Jianlian had a hard time, because she was ugly and didn't like the supervisor, so her daily routine and work were no different from those men. Horia is a little better because she herself is a woman. She looks good and maintains well. Although she is a little older, she still has the charm, which is really unique in the eyes of the supervisor. As a result, Horia became the concubine of the Black Coal Kill supervisor, doing all she could to wait for the dirty supervisor every night, which made her life easier. At least she doesn't have to do so much work, and she can take more time to rest. More importantly, she eats better than others. But even so, this kind of life is still extremely torture for Horia. Although the supervisor has the supreme status and right to speak in the Black Coal Kill, plainly speaking, he is a bad old master in the countryside, very sloppy, and does not pay attention to personal hygiene. Sometimes he does not take a bath in 2 weeks. But Horia has no choice but to resist the nausea to please him and cater to him. At night, Horia had just finished serving the supervisor and came out of the brick house in disorder. Horia still holds a plastic basin in her hand. Although the supervisor does not like to take a bath, wash his face, or brush his teeth, he likes to soak his feet every day, and as long as he soaks feet, Horia will help him. She washes his feet. Every time Horia washes his feet with a basin of clean water, the basin is dark after washing. Thinking of his foul-smelling feet, Horia shed tears of grievance. That fraudulent overseer, who didn't know anything about cleanliness, made her feel pain everywhere now. Her original delicate skin gradually became rough in this dusty and coal dust environment. Such a day is almost like hell, and don't know if there is any chance to leave this blind place in her life. Horia carried the basin and headed to the boiling water room, just to see Lien's family with dark faces, beside the coal pile, carrying baskets of coal into the coal pile. Lien looked at her, full of hatred and jealousy. In her opinion, if it weren't for Horia, this stinky lady, who was pulling herself to Elaine, she would not have fallen into this kind of place. Moreover, her family has been working at a high load since the day they came in, but what about Horia? She can be the concubine of the overseer just because she maintains better than herself. So, she looked at Horia, not angry, and gritted her teeth and cursed, "Some women are really shameless. It's shameless to go to sleep with the supervisor for such a little benefit." When Horia heard her mocking herself, she was naturally full of anger and cursed, "Lien, you should be careful when you speak to me, otherwise, be careful that I will stop you from eating tomorrow." When Lien heard this, she became furious. "Horia, what are you going to do? Are you not sleeping with the supervisor? You think that if you have him as a backer, I dare not do anything to you? Wait for me to play. Tired of you, will you still be same by then?" Horia was so angry that she blurted out, "Lien, I don't think your family wants to be better, believe me or not, tomorrow I will increase your daily working hours from 16 hours to 20 hours. Your family will be exhausted to death." When Lien heard this, she was furious. "Horia, do you have a conscience? It is because of you that me and my family ended up like this. Not only you have no guilt, you even told me to come on. You are not human." Horia said in a cold voice, "Don't talk to me here. You agreed to cooperate with me for money. If you want to make this money, you have to bear the risks behind it. Why do you rely on me?" Lien gritted her teeth, "It doesn't matter who you rely on. If it weren't for you, I and my family were eating hot and spicy in Oris Hill. How could it be possible to suffer this crime?" Horia said contemptuously, "This proves that you have no life of happiness. You are destined to live in this small coal kiln in your life. Either you will be exhausted here, or the small coal kiln will smash you to death in the well. Bottom, in short, you won't be able to stand up in your life." When Lien heard this, she became angry. The croupier, who has worked so hard in Macau for so many years, saved some money and returned to Oris Hill to prepare for the elderly life, but Horia asked her to set up a set for Elaine. This set did not matter. The coal mine came, and then she lived a life of darkness and hell, so how could she not hate Horia in her heart? Listening to Horia's words now, her whole body is already frustrated. She felt her brain tingling for a while, so she picked up a handful of iron hooks from the ground, specially used to pull coal, and waved towards Horia. Horia did not expect that this stinky lady would dare to beat her. And she moved the iron hook as soon as she came up. She was so frightened that she pissed off and ran away, but she started a little late after all, so the iron hook caught her calf. The iron hook can even hook in hard coal, not to mention the flesh. Horia only felt that the hook was like a fish hook, piercing the flesh of her calf, and then there was a sharp pain. making him staggered and fell to the ground. At this time, her calf was bloody and it looked terrifying. Horia was frightened. She knew very well in her heart that everything in this small coal kiln was very dirty, and the iron hook had rust and soot on it. She doesn't know how many bacteria were penetrated by it and infected her. Moreover, Lien in front of her has obviously lost her mind, and the threat to herself is quite big. So she hurriedly shouted, "Lien, you dare to touch me, do you want to live?" Lien had red eyes at this time and gritted her teeth and said, "You have harmed me to the point where I am today, so that I will remain in darkness for a lifetime, and you as well die with me." After that, she violently pulled the iron hook out of her calf, and then she was about to hook it on her face. Horia was so scared that she rolled several times on the ground, for fear that the iron hook would really hit her face. That thing looks so scary, maybe it can hook her eyes off. But Horia's leg was injured after all. Even if she could avoid Lien for the first 2 times, Lien has been chasing her and beating her. According to this posture, sooner or later she will be bloody abused by Lien. Horia was about to run away, but suddenly there was a pain in her leg and she fell to the ground. When she recovered, Lien rushed over, picked up the big hook and slammed it directly on her head. At this time, Horia couldn't avoid it anymore. She closed her eyes in despair, thinking that she was dead today. But at this moment, several Toyota overbearing vehicles suddenly drove in. The dazzling car lights directly hit Lien's face, and a group of people jumped out of the car. One of them pointed at Lien with a gun. "What? Put that hook down." Lien was taken aback by this battle. After all, she has worked in Macau's casinos for many years. She is well informed and knows at a glance what kind of person has what kind of strength. Although the security guards and supervisors of the black coal mine are terrible, they don't have guns. This group of people seems to be a little bigger. So she shivered and threw the iron hook on the ground. At this time, the lead, a chubby middle-aged man with a full face, walked to Horia's face, opened a photo from his mobile phone and looked at Horia, then looked at Horia, and asked, "You are Horia?" Horia nodded in panic. "I am. Who are you?" The middle-aged man nodded and said lightly, "Hello, Mrs. Wilson, introduce myself. I am from the Wu family of Suzhou. My name is Tian Zhong. I am here to take you to Suzhou." Horia was puzzled and cautiously said, "Hello, Mr. Tian Zhong, I don't seem to know the Wu family." Tian Zhong said blankly, "Our young master knew that you were pitted here by Charlie, so he specifically asked me to come and rescue you. Our young master has something to tell you, and then let you meet your family." Horia asked in surprise, "Is what you said true? Are you really going to rescue me and let me meet my family?" Tian Zhong asked in a cold voice. "Otherwise, do you think I ran all the way to this place where the birds don't sh? Is it because I am trying to tease you?" When Horia heard this, she was so excited that she was almost crying. As a result, she was so excited that she burst into tears, nodded and said, "Thank you, Master. Thank you." Seeing her dirty, Tian Zhong said to the person behind him, "Take her to your car." "Okay, boss." The man said, put the pistol away, and took Horia into the car. At this time, a man in the room came out cursing very uncomfortably. what do you guys do? My woman, too, did you take her away? Leave her to me. Tianzhong frowned and asked, who are you? This man is the supervisor of this black coal kill. When the boss is not here, he is the Earth Emperor here. So he arrogantly said, I am the safety supervisor here. Have you come to me to lead people and greet our boss Li? Tell you, our boss Li is very powerful here. Tianzhong said coldly, didn't your boss call you? Tell you that this place has been bought by our young master. Joke. The supervisor coldly shouted, Boss Li really sold this place. He will definitely tell me. I think you guys are ill-intentioned. Want to grab the woman? Tianzhong looked at Horiya and asked, what's the matter? Are you his woman? Horiya cried and said, no, I am not, I was forced by him. Tianzhong looked at the supervisor and said coldly, since she doesn't admit that she is your woman, then you shouldn't mess with me here. During this period of time, the overseer who was served by Horiya was already ecstatic. He was nothing more than a rural old hat, who had experienced this kind of white and tender lady from the city, so he had long been addicted to Horiya. Now seeing these people want to take Horiya away, he is naturally 10,000 unhappy. So he said coldly, I don't care about what you have or what you don't have, what's upsetting, I will tell you again, she is my woman. Tianzhong snorted coldly, this is your own death, so don't say I didn't give you a chance. After he finished speaking, he immediately took out a dark pistol from his waist, pointed the gun at the overseer, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. With a bang, a tongue of fire spurted from the muzzle, and a bullet instantly penetrated into the forehead of the overseer. The overseer, who was still arrogant just now, turned into a corpse in an instant. Horiya was so scared that she screamed, but Lien had a faint excitement in her eyes. She felt that she had a chance to survive. So she hurriedly said to Tianzhong, this big brother, we were also taken captive here, please take us away too. Upon hearing this, Horiya hurriedly said, you must not take her away. She almost killed me. Tianzhong looked at Horiya and asked, is this woman your enemy? Horiya nodded immediately and blurted out, yes, she is my enemy, and she will kill me. Lien was anxious and said hurriedly, Horiya, don't talk nonsense. When will I? Before Lien finished speaking, a gunshot suddenly sounded. Horiya was taken aback, and again, Tianzhong raised his pistol at this time, and the muzzle turned out to be facing Lien. And Lien, who was still talking just now, her face was already full of blood at this time, she froze for a while, and then fell to the ground with a crash. Tianzhong actually shot Lien to death. Horiya didn't expect that Tianzhong would even kill two people in the blink of an eye, trembling with fright. And Lien's family members suddenly wailed and rushed towards her body. They didn't expect that Lien, who was still alive just now, was already separated from them. But they didn't have any choice. They didn't dare to seek revenge from Tianzhong and Horiya, so they could only cry with the corpse. Tianzhong didn't pay much attention to the family in front of him. He turned around and said to the younger brothers around him, the plane is waiting at the airport. Let's leave. The shocked Horiya immediately pushed into a domineering car. Tianzhong also stepped into the car when he came. When the car turned around, he opened the window and pointed at Lian's family. As long as her family rushed forward, he would immediately kill. Fortunately, Lian's family was so scared that they did not dare to move. Immediately after that, the convoy drove away from the black coal mine in the mountain and headed for the local airport. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.